So I guess welcome to episode 3 of the PapaCast. This is the first podcast episode where I have a guest speaker, and I started off very strong. We got Simonsayssquat in. He's a very active, I'd say, a social media influencer in the fitness space. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, no, it's nice to have you. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, a little bit of your story, how you became a fitness coach and how you got into that space, because there may be some budding fitness influencers out there that want to know.
Nice. I mean, I think 6 years ago I became a Muslim. And before that I had a lot of ambitions. I wanted to be a gamer. We talked a little bit about it. I want to be a professional gamer. And then I wanted to be a professional music producer, And then I became a Muslim and I understood, okay, that might not be a good life to indulge in when you're a Muslim. I want to be, getting closer to Allah. And the thing is, I started just working out because I always worked out, but when I didn't have the time to spend on doing music or gaming, I thought like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I work out more, right? So I started with that. And with every step of the way, you do trial and error, you learn things, you become a better version of yourself, as cliche as it sounds. So with that, I decided, this is fun. Like, and I always come from a point of view where I want to kind of remove or cure my own ignorance. I always come from that kind of view. So when I decided to become a personal trainer, get a certificate back in Sweden, I never thought like, okay, I'm going to be a personal trainer. I'm going to teach people. I'm going to be an online coach. No, I don't even think I had Instagram or nothing, right? I went cold turkey when I became Muslim. I was like, I'm going to be the real guy, no social media. I'm going to be cool. So I started in this personal training education, and I thought like, I just wanted to learn. I want to know what I'm doing, that I'm actually doing something that I don't want to do bro science, as you used to say. Like, I want to know what I'm doing. So when I got into that, I found out, oh, this is kind of fun. They talked a lot about how to work with people, this kind of, helping people to become better, a better version of themselves. That really resonated with me because I thought the same thing, but for myself. I thought like, wow, imagine doing that for someone else. Amazing, right? So that's how it started. And then I kind of started my Instagram, not this account, the Simonsayssquat. I actually had a friend. We started something called ACFIT. I don't know have you seen? No, you haven't seen. Okay.
No, is it still live or?
This is This is.
Should I be following it?
No, it's been dead for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was nice. That was the first time I actually did social media.
Okay.
Very cringy stuff. Like,
I'm going to have to go check this out now.
Maybe.
I'm sorry.
So we just did, so the name is ACFIT or ACFIT. As in brother, fit as in fitness.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's cute.
it's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did videos. We did we worked out together because he was also on a fitness journey like me. It started like there, doing content, and man, I was really proud back then. But when I look at this stuff, I'm like, oh well.
Like that was the start, though, right?
That was the start. Humble beginnings.
If you accidentally see a couple trolling comments from Pop,
yeah.
my apologies in advance.
No problem. No.
I'm definitely gonna check that one out.
I don't know the login info anymore. So
You won't
probably see it.
Oh, that's gonna take like half the fun out of it.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Okay, well that's good. Like I loved how in your story you mentioned that like fitness, you didn't realize that it was sort of the connection to people. So you think fitness is like physiological stuff, like building muscle and probably like nutrition and all this technical stuff. But it's amazing how the good coaches, I've noticed, it's more about the people than about the science behind it. And those who are good with people, those who know how to make those connections and sort of help people discover, their real goals and aims. Like I think they're the ones that end up doing a lot better.
Definitely.
And getting better results. So that's interesting. Now you have a very specific niche. So I think your tagline, what is it? Lose 10% body fat and get closer to Allah at the same time.
Yeah, with some very
So that's like a very specific deliverable. So how did you come down to that niche even? That's a very focused group, you could say.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's a journey. You do you stumble upon things, you figure out stuff along the way, and I think that's the beautiful part. Like for anyone that want to start out with anything, like especially when it comes to social media, like it's just getting started. Like we talked about it recently. Like I'm trying to get started with YouTube. And I'm like overthinking everything. And you just said like, just do it, man. Just record and just say something, man. And I think that's the beauty of it. it doesn't have to be perfect. Even though it feels like it when you see other people's content, that wow, it's so perfect, it's so well designed. Yeah, but they started somewhere, right? And I think it's like a nice addition in this social media environment, that you got people, they come in, they genuine, they got something. They might not have the best camera, best equipment, but they're doing stuff. They're creating content. And that can sometimes feel more genuine than all the like crazy edited transitions. You know, sometimes it can be better. Tangent, sorry. What was the question?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you though, by the way. I think it's good to have, I think TikTok helped me get on social media because it changed it from the hyper edited sort of, you know, real clean type of production stuff to every day. And that's me, like, that was the only way I could sustain it. So if my hair's not brushed, if I'm whatever, you know, looking exhausted, or I don't mind, I'll just turn the camera on and say, hey, this is what I'm eating right now. And it worked. My question was about your niche, though, about focusing particularly on this linking, I guess, fitness to religion or to faith. How were you able to come to that realization? What was your goal? And is it sustainable for you? Are you able to get enough clientele? Do you work with non-Muslims too?
Very rarely. Like, especially now when I niched so much, I don't think it resonates with non-Muslims that much. Like, even though I believe that even non-Muslims would benefit, like it's I think for everyone there's always an element of physical health and spiritual health, and you know, you got the other stuff: emotional health, social health, mental health, right? I think, you know, so how I got started, like I got to this personal training education, right? And I never thought like, okay, I'm gonna do just the Muslim people, right? Because I lived in Sweden and I realized, okay, it's not gonna be, you know, sustainable maybe just to focus on that. It's a small group. But when you realize that you do, like when you start doing things online, suddenly the whole world becomes a market. You can niche down, however, like you should niche down. Like I believe, especially in the beginning, you should really niche down, because what happens is you getting into the pond or the ocean, and there are a lot of fishes there. Big fishes gonna eat you up, man. You know, so you gotta kind of compete with these people. But if you go into a smaller pond, you might be a bigger fish in, you know, in the context of, you know, whatever niche you're doing, right? So I thought like that. Okay, let's try it. Let's do fitness. So I started off with that online coaching. By the way, I've never done a personal training session in the gym. I've never done it, like paid professionally. I've helped people. We worked out like that. But I've never done personal training.
I wasn't supposed to pay you when we worked out, was I?
I'm still waiting, bro. I thought, you know, the protein bar can...
Okay,
we
good.
can,
So it's like a 9 dirham session then.
Yeah.
Some of them get expensive.
I mean, it's, you know, for the work we did, it's going to give me some muscles maybe. So
true.
In the long run, it's
Yeah.
pays off.
You owe me almost, you could say.
Yeah.
Okay, like this is good what you were mentioning, because it's a bit of a business lesson, and focusing on a market. You're right, becoming a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, and like it's counterintuitive. You would think that no, the bigger the market, you resonate so strongly with that certain market. So there'll be people who be like, oh man, he's talking about me. The way you describe your potential client, are you struggling to be with your family, to pray on time, and get strong and fit? And then linking it all together. And I agree with you earlier that even across different faiths in general, like there's a lot of benefit to, like it's part of your overall well-being. So spirituality with the physical side, there's never anything wrong with getting stronger or working on your fitness.
Definitely.
And it feeds into your relationships, to your profession, like your confidence in the workplace, everything.
Yeah, even if you're not Muslim. And the reason why, like, actually I was kind of scared doing that kind of transition. Because first I had my account, it started growing, and I thought like, okay, I'm gonna do online coaching, and I started working with, just creating nutrition and workout plans. I thought like, let's do that. But I suddenly realized that, you know, this issue of health and fitness is not just, it won't help you to throw workout and nutrition plans to people, because if you think about it, in this day and age, we don't have a problem with information. We have a problem with implementation, actually doing the plans, right?
True.
You hear this a lot, right? Oh, I had to diet 1 week and then I fell off. You know, or I went to the gym last week, this week something happened, insert excuse, right? So I quickly realized, okay, so this is the problem with people being out of shape is not actually, they know what to do. Like if you ask if a person is overweight, okay, what if you have to give yourself an advice or a couple of advices, what would you say? And they would say like pretty spot on stuff. Like you don't need a personal training certificate, just know that. But I think, as you said, like working with people, knowing their behaviors, their habits, that I've really like focused on right now, and knowing where are they right now, emotionally, mentally, what kind of struggles are they having inside here, and how can you transform that, use that to transition to this place, to this person they want to transform into. That's basically how I started. And I started niching down, learning more about Islam. I saw that, subhanAllah, in Islam, even you got a lot of beautiful principles when it comes to health and mindset,
Can you share some of those? Like, I'd be interested to see, like, what are some of the explicit things about Islam that promote strength, health, these kind of wellness in general? Is there anything?
Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of hadith. I haven't memorized all of them, obviously, but there's like...
Simon, come on.
I know.
What? It's the only reason I brought you here.
Yeah. Should I go? We continue.
Let's just finish it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. You did it. You smashed the D. Well done. We should not be allowed to make podcasts. Okay.
A hadith about stuff from Islam.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get just context, because I do have a lot of young Muslim kids following me too.
Nice.
And a lot of non-Muslim kids, but there's a lot of youth, I would say, in general. So this kind of stuff, I find it really inspiring.
Like I said, the beautiful thing with the religion of Islam, it's a lifestyle. It's not something, you go to the mosque, you become, a sheikh with a big beard. It's not like, it's a holistic lifestyle, and it's extremely flexible. Like, that's why you see people like Andrew Tate becoming Muslim, or these people coming from the West, and they feel like they're missing a lot of stuff, maybe, lifestyle principles that we might have had before in the West, for example, from where I'm from in Sweden. We kind of lost it along the way, trying to, I don't know. So, for example, we got many hadith about, the way of eating, right? You shouldn't fill your stomach to the limit. You shouldn't become like in a food coma.
Yeah, right. 1/3.
Yeah,
one third food, 1/3.
Exactly,
water,
1/3 of food, 1/3 of water, 1/3 of air. And you've seen and it also talks about this in the same hadith, that the stomach is the worst container the humankind has ever filled. And if you look at all the diseases we see, chronic illnesses and everything we see today, and the studies, like everything is linked to what you eat, like the diet.
The gut, yeah.
The top, like if you look at the top, the heart, the diabetes stuff, the obesity stuff, everything is connected with what we put into our bodies, right? So many things there.
No, I like these kind of hadith. It's interesting because when you look at some of like the latest obesity kind of tools, like surgeries and stuff, like there's one where I think they cut literally 2/3 of your stomach.
Really?
They do. So there's different types, but I think one of them where I think it's called a gastric sleeve. So they cut 2/3 of your stomach and make it like almost like a banana shape. And so it's like they're forcing you to do the sunnah. Like literally, if you followed that sunnah where you would eat only up to 1/3, it's the same as getting an operation and mutilating your.
Wow.
Subhanallah. So you're right. Like this is the thing I like. I mean, I'm also a practicing Muslim. I don't talk as much about it on my channel, but just the little things, like what shoe to wear first, which it's like your whole life mapped out, and it makes things easy, so you can focus on a lot more complicated stuff, because the world is sometimes complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice guidance for a lot of things. And like what you said there about, if you just follow the sunnah, really, right? Like that's, you described it or expressed it, the thing I said before about, it's not about information, about implementation. Some people, they might not know the implementation of stuff, or they might need some help with implementing stuff. And that's why the coaching business has been, it's like exploded the past, couple years. Because I think in this world where everyone seems to be very connected, they're also very disconnected, if that makes sense. Like you don't have mentors like you had back in the days. You don't have teachers in the same way like you had in back in the days. Like we got people, like in Sweden, it's so upside down with that system. Like the students have more rights than the teachers. So if for some way, the teacher, offend the student, they can get fired. They don't even have the capacity to discipline. And I think having that kind of, that's a beautiful part with Islam when you see they have preserved that. Okay, you are someone seeking knowledge from someone with knowledge. So there's a different manner how you do all of that, how you treat that relationship.
Yeah, even down to the greetings and,
Exactly,
who
yeah.
sits where, right?
Exactly, where you sit, how you talk, how you address, and I think this is kind of a thing people need, because we don't know everything, right? We are limited in a lot of things, and we have people that know more stuff. And instead of doing all the mistakes yourself, you go to a person to teach you, to help you, right? So
How long does it take for you to? I call it, for me, it's like there's some kind of click moment where someone just decides, okay, this is it. I'm gonna reach my goals. So it can be sometimes something very specific, or it can be like an event that happened that causes someone to finally make that decision and get out of the spiral of up and down, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight.
right.
So for me, it was something very personal. So what's my name online? My main brand is PapaFit, right? Being a father.
Yeah.
So for me, it was fertility issues. So that was where, before that, oh, you'll get diabetes, you'll blood pressure, you might die. Who cares? Whatever. But the minute they said, oh, by the way, you can't have kids. Oh, whoa, okay. And that was it. That was my, that hit me hard.
Wow.
And so I'm assuming that that's a big part of your job too. A lot of the listening with clients, learning the psychology aspects. How long does it sometimes take for you to actually figure out what is their main driver, motivator that can help them never or not turn back or quickly catch themselves when they're slipping back into bad habits?
Interesting. I think there's two sides to this question. Every person that joined the program, I talk with them. I grab a call before they even joining to make sure. I call it the qualification call, to see, from their perspective, are they going to be a good fit for the system, for the program? And am I going to be the person that can help them? Because people, they have all sorts of issues, and I cannot solve all of them. Obviously, I have a very, like we said, a niche expertise. And that's a beautiful part with niching down. You become an expert at what you do.
True.
The more you do it, right? So that's what you should, like in the beginning, obviously, which means you need to turn people down, unfortunately, but that's for the best.
True.
Yeah. Now, figuring out those stuff, what drives them, is something I do before they even join, because I want to know what the main motivator is. So the most common things I see are events, like you said. Maybe they went to the doctor, they got some bad news, and they decided to change. But that might not change everybody. It's often related to self-image. They feel disappointment. They feel they are letting people down. They're letting themselves down. They feel like they are not being the best version of themselves. Often when you talk about fitness, you talk about running away from pain. You have that perspective. In some cases, like if I would do business coaching, right? And for coaches, I would talk maybe more about, oh, you can achieve this. You can achieve 10K a month, achieve 20K a month, right? You talk about running to a dream scenario. But fitness always comes from running from or going from a pain.
So removing pain versus going towards a goal.
Exactly. So I think that is really powerful, really, really powerful to talk. And that's what we find out. And then when they join, we're going to know, like, what kind of plan do we need to set up? It's not just the workout and the nutrition. It's actually how we're going to work together. How is that relationship going to be like? And then obviously, like you said, if people fall off track, that is just, they're humans.
Yeah, that's life.
That's life, bro.
Yeah.
Like, just
things come up.
And that's a beautiful, we even have a hadith about that as well.
Huh.
What do you do when you get off track? كل بني آدم خطأ. Every child of Adam do mistakes. But the best one of them are those that return to Allah in repentance. So the concept of repentance in Islam, what is it? It's not just saying, oh God, I'm sorry. And then but I'm going to do it anyways. Joke's on you. No, it doesn't work. It has a lot of conditions. First off, that you realize that you've done is a mistake. Realize, like, people are sometimes not realizing that and just keep on going, And then also trying to do the best to go back by shutting off whatever led you to that mistake, right? So, for example, if you have a problem with drinking. So, okay, you slipped, you drink. Now, what you got to do? Like, obviously don't have liquor at home, right? don't have access to places or to whatever that makes you go there. You got to cut it off. And then you make sure to go back by promoting the behaviors and habits that keeps you on track. So maybe you just need to not isolate yourself every evening, or maybe talk with someone, right? So this is a really beautiful principle. If you just look at the Hadith, the best of them are those who turn to Allah. Yeah, but what is repentance in Islam? You need to know that. Yeah. And that's a beautiful part. So I use a lot of that in my coaching.
It's to be honest, it does resonate because, I've just even watched recently a fitness video that these guys are like, you just went on holiday and you destroyed your diet. You ate every day. You had horrible habits. What do? And it's a very consistent message even for them. And these aren't Muslims. They said, just go back. Get back to what you were doing before. It's like the common things people say that, I can't lose weight because X, Y, Z. And then how do you counter those?
Yeah. So the most common excuses for not getting in shape is, I have kids. I don't have time. I'm busy with work. Most important reasons for getting in shape is kids. It's because you have work. It's because you're tired. And because you don't have time.
I like that.
The same excuses are the reasons.
Just flip it.
Just flip it, bro.
It's so true.
Because the thing is, people don't realize that. I think they have a mindset of, if I gotta spend time on this, I'm losing out on this. I need to trade something. But they forget that that's not how investing works. An investment is, when you put $1 in, you're gonna get $1 out. That's a successful investment, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you should view it. Your health. So there are 3 things in your life that you should always work on. That is your health, that is your relationships, family, friends, whatever, and that is your wealth. When it comes to the worldly matters.
Right.
So whenever you lack one of these areas, you're going to have a lot of pain in your life. If you don't have a relationship, you're going to feel alone. If you don't have health, you're going to feel, very tired, out of shape, disappointed, bad, no confidence. If you don't have wealth, you cannot buy nice protein bars.
That's true.
Right?
Or 6 out of 10 protein bars.
6 out of 10 protein bars.
I wouldn't call these nice.
Yeah, but it's budget friendly. But even then, I don't know if it's budget friendly.
Very good, Simon.
Thank you.
We need to do a comedy podcast. Forget this fitness stuff, man. We're comedians. That's really good. I like that. I like how you were able to immediately flip the typical excuses and say that the very reasons that you can't work out is the reason why you should be 100% investing fully into it. And that resonates. Another
thing on that actually doesn't have with fitness to do, but the morning prayer we have as Muslims, Fajr. I hear people a lot talking about, I cannot wake up. I cannot wake up on time. Something's wrong. Yeah, something's wrong, man. Your mindset is wrong. And we all been there. We're not perfect Muslims, right? So what I usually, just to flip it, I like to use, examples and analogies, right? So I say imagine you got a very important vacation tomorrow with your family. You spent, all your savings, right? The plane is leaving 5 a.m. You got to be there at least 3 a.m. to catch the flight. Then I asked them, are you going to be able to wake up to catch that flight? Or are you going to be oh man, I'm going to sleep, right? I haven't heard someone say, yeah, I'm going to miss that flight. No, I haven't heard. Some people don't even have to set the alarm. They're going to wake up. Why? Because they have subconsciously, first of all, they're excited, but they have invested mentally into that there is no other option than actually going on this vacation. They don't have a plan.
It's a decision, right?
It's a decision.
They decided.
And I think what happens is, since we're doing the prayer every day, but we forget that every day is a blessing. It's just you are not guaranteed to live another day. So the decision should be, if I'm able to wake up tomorrow, if I am alive tomorrow, I should be thankful, man, right?
True.
And decide that, okay, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be thankful for, because I just got another day, man.
It's amazing how short our memories are.
Yeah.
Bani Adam, as humans, we
have.
Really,
especially me, man.
Yeah.
I forget my name sometimes.
I agree. Simon says what?
Exactly.
But I mean, it's amazing how something so small can remind you of how you should appreciate life. You stub your toe, and now walking, that little tiny toe, and the most simple thing is so difficult now, and you're like, oh my God. Or even maybe a stronger example, like a stomach ache. Oh my God! Nothing is important to you when you have that extreme pain in your stomach.
Yeah.
So somebody can come up to you and be like, you can have $100 billion, but you have to feel like this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Nobody would take that.
Exactly.
They would say, no way. I
SubhanAllah.
can't, because you can't enjoy it. Food, your favorite dish, nothing.
Exactly.
And we forget, and it's sad that it has to be like that, where something goes wrong, and then luckily most of the time it's short term and you recover.
Yeah, definitely.
You're back, but there'll be a day where maybe you don't recover or you don't wake up.
SubhanAllah, there's a beautiful saying of Imam Shafi'i about this, or kind of. He says that health is a crown that only the sick people can see, that the healthy people wear. They have it on their head, they have a crown, but they cannot see it. They're busy, they're distracted, they're doing the stuff, they get a stomach ache. Now the only thing that matters is that crown. They just lost it.
True. Man. Yeah, I have a colleague and a friend, and he's been through some very, very difficult things. And just listening to him talk and how he has to deal with daily life, and he was quite young when he got sick. And that's the other thing. Sometimes we think it's an age thing, but not at all. I mean, I think he was in his mid-20s when he survived. But yeah, it's changed his whole perspective, I think. So this is good. So kids out there, appreciate things. You're young now. You're healthy. Be happy
Look
about
at us
that.
old people, man.
Yeah, I'm a lot older than you, though. Yeah. Although we're quite similar. We're both married with 2 kids, right? So we're kind of on the same level.
Yeah, I just got there a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm older, I get older quicker. Dog years. I'm counting dog years, man.
Okay.
So I'm like 50 years old now.
Really? This is turning into like Benjamin Button kind of plot. Do you age backwards?
I wish.
Quality content here. These buttons, this is the worst thing for someone like me, because if there's a button there, I have to push it.
But you should have this big sound pad, man.
You're the DJ, like
right.
ex-DJ, excuse me. So like,
Halal DJ, I can do
the halal, little get the supporting hadith on that issue. Boom.
Just doing this
all day long. Yeah. Some of the kids, like I said, they might be interested in being a coach one day.
Yeah, nice.
I like to look at the business side of things too. I used to be a business teacher way back in the day. Like, what was some tips you'd give them? So if someone really wants to get into the fitness industry or that kind of space also, what are some solid tips you can give them, whether it's in terms of qualifications, whether it's in terms of whatever, habits, mindset? What would you say?
Well, there's a lot of things you can say. I think as a kid, like if I would give myself advice 10 years ago, I would say, look, Simon, the only thing that matters is becoming a better version of yourself, because that's the only thing that matters. So how do you do that? Well, you acquire skills doing so. So do not underestimate the power of learning skills. I think that's the number one thing. What we see now, as I said, there's a lot of coaches out there, but they don't have that, they're just good at selling, but they're not maybe good at helping, or they're good at making content. Because the thing is, I started out, I worked a bunch of jobs. I had like 2-3 jobs at the same time. And one of those was selling. And I sell, shit products, man.
Yeah.
I was not proud of it.
Tell me, what kind of products?
Listen, I went out. We had a very fishy van.
Okay.
It looked like a pedophile van.
Yeah.
With a bunch of kids.
You're like, hey, we got Nintendo.
No, we were a bunch of kids.
You want to come into my van?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Almost, bro.
Okay.
We were a bunch of kids going into, I was in, what do you call it in English, man? High school?
Okay.
High school.
Yeah, Thanawiya. Yeah.
The Thanawiya,
Last couple. Okay.
Yeah.
High school.
We call it gymnasium in Sweden. I don't know why.
That's weird.
The gym, man. Hitting the
Gymnasium?
Gym. Yeah, man.
Come on, that's a little exaggerated for
I know.
grade 11, 12.
True. So either way, we went into this, fishy van.
Okay.
We went all over the place, different small villages.
Yeah.
And we sold chocolate balls.
Okay.
Chocolate, like melted chocolate balls because of the trip, right?
Okay.
And socks.
And like together?
Together.
Was it buy one, get one free?
Yeah,
like
kind of.
With 3 balls, you get a sock?
It was like buy 2 socks and you get a package of chocolate balls.
Melted chocolate balls.
Most awful thing was how we were taught to sell. It was a lie. Everything was a lie. They said, say that you come from a school trip, blah, blah, blah. And say that you're doing this to save hungry children in Africa or something. Okay,
Wow.
These socks.
And were you guys all like young, like
14 years old, 14 years old.
I get it.
We wanted money, bro. So we had like this supervisor, right? Who was really fishy, We were selling these socks that sucked. Yeah. They like, you could just pull and it would just break. And we said like, this is the best quality, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This was the first impression I got from selling. So I hated selling because of that. But now I realize selling is everything. Selling is to promote an idea to another person, to convey a message that can help the other person. And you can never help the other person if you don't understand where they come from. Like, you know, the thing, I'm gonna sell this pen, right?
Yeah.
This kind of stuff.
Yeah, create the need, you know.
Yeah, create the need. No, find out what the need is and see if you can help them with it. If you can't, don't sell stuff.
I agree with you. And in America, where I was raised most of my life, there's also quite a negative image on sales. You got the sleazy car salesman trying to sell you, you know, something that, you know, probably isn't as good as it looks, you know, whatever. But I also learned at a young age that it can be a good thing too. So one of my first jobs, I think, was I was a retail manager in a bookstore. So just listening to the kids and being, because some of the books were quite expensive and a lot of these students are on budgets and what have you. So oftentimes, like, just, you know, being able to come up with different strategies where you're still making sales, but you're helping them find, you know, used books and let them know which older editions are still actually fairly similar to the newer editions. So they might be out of print, so you can even get them for free, things like that. So I leveraged that, and then they keep coming back to me. So my sales went up indirectly, but, you know, just by trying to help them, and then I felt good. And so it doesn't have to be this, but I think you're constantly in a state of sales. Like it's every interaction you have, there's a transaction almost. So whether it's getting married or, you know, you could be a doctor, but building your patient clientele, everyone has to have that skill.
Definitely. There are three main skills everyone needs to have, especially if people want to get into business. Three main things. First is selling. And the second is marketing. The third is creating. So you need to learn how to sell, you need to know how to market, and you need to know how to create a product.
It's interesting because a lot of people they think sales and marketing are the same thing. Differentiate it for them.
So marketing is getting leads, so-called leads, which is a person that is interested in your stuff. But you call it engaged leads because leads is actually a contact. It can be a number, whatever.
So it could be very low level.
Yeah, but you want engaged leads. You want people that actually want your stuff. So you get them in. You get them into your store, you get them into your door, you get them into your account. That's marketing. Then how are you going to turn them into customers or clients? You start to selling. You find out what their needs are. If you can help them with it, then obviously you need to have a product. So you create a product. And the thing is, if you can just master, and I talk about master, that you can perfect, you can be top guy in selling, you can make a lot of money. If you can do two of those things, selling and marketing, you can basically create generational wealth. Like if you can master it. If you can master all three, Elon Musk.
You wouldn't want any money in Papa's hands.
Only ninja stuff and protein bars.
Yeah, the millions I make off of my ninja affiliation. Papa Fit 10 code.
Use the code. Make him rich, guys.
I need a second Lamborghini. By the way, the Chinese car is doing really well.
Yeah, I saw it. I parked behind you.
Oh, good. You didn't dent it, did you?
You were getting a Lamborghini, right? So let's talk about that. No, it was good. It was nice.
Yeah, it is. I'll show you the inside later.
Yeah, nice.
It's nicer than the van you used to roll around in. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That was a good story, though. We need to do another. I think it'd be great to have you back one day, just on career stuff in general, because I've had thousands of jobs too. I worked on an oil rig, and I just feel like those kind of experiences, you learn so much from it, whether they're good or bad.
I've cleaned toilets, bro.
Yeah. I cleaned the masjid toilet. That was my first.
I wish I cleaned masjid toilets.
That was my first job, 14, the masjid toilet. And I could never, every time the wudu area, every time I cleaned, somebody would come in and make wudu, and they get and it was a never ending, it was it was hard. All right. Well, this has been a very good conversation. Do you have any upcoming events? Let's plug some stuff. What are you up to? What are you doing?
I'm currently doing bachelor's at university here in Dubai.
Okay.
In Islamic studies.
Well done.
So I'm doing a lot of that, and I'm doing my business, obviously, growing my accounts. So I've been focusing a lot on it. I want to focus more on TikTok and in YouTube. I want to do long form content. I really like that. It's so easy. You can talk, and it's not like the pressure's off. You can just do your thing, right? And I do my coaching. So right now I have it's a 6-month program. You can do 3 months if you want to do that, but I recommend people do the 6 months one. And we fix 3 things in your life, basically. So we're fixing your diet, and we have currently 4 different nutrition approaches. We do that. So it's quite
depending on people's preference and or life circumstances.
So just to name them is macro tracking, tracking your macros, meal planning, following a set of recipes, time-specific approach, which is
Like fasting, you mean? Or?
yeah, so each approach has different strategies. So for the time-specific, we have intermittent fasting, we have meal skipping as one of the strategies, we have meal compensation, we have eating windows, so a bunch of things. Portion control, we got the new one, CPR. I'm going to add there.
I can't wait for that.
I love it. And then we have half or double strategy. Just a bunch of things. Makes no sense when I say them, but at least there is always something for someone.
You know what I love about that approach? Like, that sounds so good, because I've met a lot of trainers where they just have like one single route. Yeah. And even me, like, I'm crazy. Like, week on week, I change my diet approach depending on my mood. Yeah. So there's times where like I don't feel like tracking, I'm busy, and I'll just do like a low carb diet. I've got nothing against carbs, but it's just easier. I know that if I just eat a bunch of protein and some vegetables, I'll be fine. And then there's other days where the fasting, I mean, I tend to lose a lot of weight in Ramadan. I know some people it's the opposite, but I react very well to fasting too. So sure. I mix them up. It doesn't exactly. always have to be one or the other, but it's great that you're giving those different methods to your clients and not kind of forcing them. Because everyone might lose weight on a low carb diet, for example, but you know,
but what happens after?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Then they might be miserable on it. Like that's not the point too.
And the only reason I have all of these approaches is because I'm doing it. Like you said, I don't want to stay and counting calories for the rest of my life. I do it maybe 2-3 weeks, and that's it. Yeah. Like I don't want to do it for the rest of my life. It's terrible. So that's why like all these approaches is actually things I've done. So I just add them on the list, right? And so that's the first thing we fix. We fix with weekly physical activity and daily physical activity. So we differentiate between these, that your body is a vehicle for you. Improve it by working out or taking the stairs instead of the elevator, doing 10 push-ups every day. At least you're doing something, right? And then the third one is fixing your habits, which is probably the most powerful system of, that we use it, the 1% approach. Inspired from this Atomic Habits book by James Clear, really recommend it. And also from the Sunnah. Like we have a hadith that the Prophet said, وَأَنَّ حَبَ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَدْوَامُهَا وَإِنْ قَلَّ, that the most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are consistent, even though they're few. So just be consistent. That's it. It doesn't mean don't look at quantity, look at frequency. That's it.
And you can achieve huge things with consistency. Like a marathon, literally, like you don't actually have to be, it's tough, like for most people completing a marathon, but the number of steps you've had over the week, you've completed marathons over and over again. It's just one step repeated over and over and over again. Exactly. And we all have the ability to do that. But do you have the kind of focus and
patience?
To get through it. Oh, I love it, man. Are you still able to take on clients? How's your schedule?
So I'm doing I'm not doing subscriptions like people do, like low ticket subscription, because then you don't have active time with the client. So I do like hands-on things. I like that. Then you don't have to have a lot of clients, and you can get a good income of it. And obviously, like the important stuff is you don't kind of kill yourself in order to make a living. That's the important stuff, because then the people that you're gonna help. I was in that place once. I had this low ticket offer, and I had 120 clients. It was a nightmare. And none of them got any good results because of it.
Sure.
So I'd rather have a few clients that help, hands-on, that we can grab a call when it's needed. I can help them.
And I agree with that approach, because you have to invest. I think them investing more alone will create a greater chance of them actually succeeding. Because when you go all in, you can't leave a back door open. You know what I mean? There's no door behind you. So by going all in, number one, it's just that much more likely. And then number two, when you think about it, the issues that you're solving, number one, there's so many of them. So they're coming in, maybe it's their confidence. But then when they lose weight, now all of a sudden they're doing better at work. And then they start making more money because they're getting promoted. They were able to get married. Maybe before they struggled with that because they felt like, they couldn't find a partner. So like all these other things. So, I mean, what price tag would you put on that? Like your whole life improving. Yeah. And then even things that you don't know yet. Maybe you're going to live 15, 20 years longer because of the things you're doing now.
Exactly. I always recommend people to don't be shy. Like, I know how hard it is. I spent a lot of money on coaching myself. And I've realized the only regret I have is that I didn't do it sooner. The way is just have propelled me. Like I wouldn't. It would be impossible to know these things by myself. And I actually have an interview with a client that lost 10 kilos in his first 8 weeks in the program. Amazing, transformation.
This is what is it on YouTube or?
Yeah, I have an interview on my YouTube channel, Simonsayssquat.
Okay.
He said the exact same thing. He said, I tried all of these cheap alternatives, these options, whatever. It never worked. But as soon as I decided to, it felt scary, but I did it anyways. Then I was, I had the skin in the game.
And by the way, if you added up the cost of all these cheap alternatives, it probably spent double in the end anyway. He would been able to afford a proper
exactly. And imagine all the things, like all the junk food you buy, all the
you stop
gym membership you pay for you never go to, like all of that adding up.
True.
Years, like come on.
We have a saying in English. It's penny wise and pound foolish. So you're smart with the change, and then you just blow away the huge, like you're throwing away,
that's true.
That's big true. Money, and then you're trying to save on the little things. It doesn't make any sense.
No, so like, look, if people want to join, they can go. I have an application form where you answer a bunch of questions, and then I'll contact you, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And we make sure that all the information are laid out of the program, how it works, the pricing, everything before you make a move.
Good.
I want you to make an educated decision.
Transparency, I like it.
Yeah. I want to, it's really important. So
good. Look, before we go, there's a couple things I do want to address.
Yeah. I know.
Number one, the whole promo thing. By the way, thanks for letting me be the bad guy there. The tattoo issue. So this is a popular one. A lot of people get confused. He's like quite devout Muslim, and
I've got crazy comments. People think I'm a Swedish spy living here.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it's a good. I think it's a great icebreaker for you, though.
That's the thing. Like, if we look at it from an Islamic perspective, everything you do can be forgiven.
So
we don't put limits on the mercy of God, and that's a beautiful thing. So there's a hadith about that Islam kind of destroys everything that came before in terms of sins. So every bad thing you did is forgiven. Now, obviously, if you stole something from someone, you gotta return it, bro. Yeah. Like, you have the rights between you and God, the relationship between you and God, and the relationship between you and people. So, and then continuing that hadith, the same goes with repentance, repenting to Allah, to God. So these tattoos I did obviously before I was a Muslim, right? So I obviously didn't know I would become a Muslim. And I didn't know that it was haram. I don't know if I would have known, I would care, because I was not a Muslim. So I did this. My first tattoo was actually this. I was 18, and my uncle, he's a tattoo artist. So I got all of these for free.
Ah, okay.
So that explains it. And I wanted to do sleeves, like 2 sleeves.
Yeah.
And, maybe something on I want to be tatted up.
Yeah.
I want to be tatted boy.
By the way, you totally look like a UFC fighter.
You think? Yeah.
Have you ever met Hamzat Chamay, by the way?
No, wait. Have I?
He's around Dubai these days.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Do you know him?
Yeah, I know of him.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
Guy's insane, but he's so Chechen, but I think under the Swedish nationality now.
They have a club there in Stockholm. Yeah. All those crazy people.
I followed him really, really, really early. And he used to be living in the gym, like in a small room back, and now he's, mashallah, he's blown up. But
I really, really like those people. I have such a huge respect for them. Like, they have discipline on a whole different level, bro. Like, they come from, like you said, the sleeping in the gym. They come from humble beginnings, really. And they just, they have a mindset of, and I think that's just the way the culture, tradition, and having the religion, and really utilizing the principle of the religion, because you see, they, mashallah, they really can control their body. They have this strength, mental fortitude, physical, everything, bro. I don't want to be in a bad, I don't want to fight anyone. I want to be friends with all of them.
Okay, I agree. I think that probably is a smart idea. Yeah. You Simonsayssquat on all your socials?
Yeah, on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I had Twitter, but I don't know. I don't like Twitter.
It's called X now.
Yeah, X. Sorry, Elon.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
There goes our sponsorship.
Don't send me tomorrow.
Oh, you know what? See, I got these. I should start getting people, if this thing picks up, and just get paid to have a little product placement.
So whatever.
Do you want to eat one of these? The guy, what's his name? Kronk or Kronker, and he makes these so he'll smash up rice cakes and mix it with Greek yogurt and then put them in the freezer. And they actually they turn into these huge, and they're very low calorie, high protein. It's like way better macros than that, and because you can flavor it yourself. And he's done a new one recently where he put regular cereal with like 50 grams of 0-calorie sweetener. So, I don't know if you're familiar with the Walden Farms, 50 grams of that and a scoop of protein powder. That's it.
Wow.
Puts it in the freezer for half an hour, and it's actually really good. So imagine Rice Krispies with the sweet syrup. And
I need to start doing that. I'm just so lazy, man.
It is that's the problem. You have to think ahead of time, and then you have to eat it on the spot because once it melts. So, but it literally it's like that big, and it's very filling, and it's way better macros and cheaper than a protein bar.
Definitely, yeah.
So go follow him online. I forgot his name now. Sorry, Kronker or whatever. I comment on all his videos. I think he follows me too. He's a really good guy. He's I'd say the only thing against him, he's Canadian, and I'm not even sure if that's a real country.
That's a problem.
Yeah, just kidding.
Justin Bieber's from Canada, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, that just ends the conversation there.
But I understand. I'm from Sweden, so I understand. We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Sweden and Canada.
Sweden and Canada, exactly. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Well, thank you
for
my
having me on this show.
Yeah, no problem.
This was great. I guess we'll say goodbye.